Hey guys, how's everyone going tonight? I'm not going to look at the camera because I'm driving. Mom says I need to be safe, so I'm going to look straight ahead and I'm just going to talk. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about tonight, but I felt like just talking because I'm driving anyway. So I think today I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna run deep. I think something's been on my mind, and I think right now I'm in a position to talk about it. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about something good. So coming out of high school, coming out of university, completing my degree, it's one of those periods where, as a young man, I think it's a period of questioning your identity. And I think thinking about school and how that went, thinking about high school and university, I never really liked high school. I never really felt like I was doing it for a reason. I think the system of high school and the system of education, yes, it's good, but it doesn't teach you a lot of things about life in general. I think as soon as you come out of high school, you're sort of forced to get a job. Completing university, you're sort of forced to get a job, and you don't really have that time to sort of sit down and think about who you really are as a person. I think what the system doesn't do well is it doesn't teach us the fundamentals of life in general. I think what it really misses is, the things that actually matter in your life. Things like being able to tell people things like depression, being able to tell people about your mental illnesses, being able to question the bigger questions in life. What is the reason we exist? Why and what is our purpose here? What do we really want to achieve in our lives? I think these questions never ever come up in university, never come up in high school. I think what happens is we sort of get put in this system where we have to pick subjects like biology, mathematics. We have to pick what we have to do, and I think what the system really lacks is it really lacks giving people self-awareness, especially young people, young people self-awareness. I think if there was a subject to allow young men and women to understand themselves better and what their true potential is as human beings are, I think that's something that we need to master. I think what school doesn't teach us is everything takes work. Happiness doesn't just come. You don't just know what you want to achieve through high school. High school doesn't teach you that stuff. University doesn't teach you that stuff. They teach you how to perform in a career which is totally been constructed to serve the human race, but they don't teach you, how to discover yourself, which I think is so important, because you can live your whole life and one day you can come to the end of your life and you still don't know yourself. You can spend 20, 30, 40 years going through the system and still not understanding who you are as a person and what your potential really is. So what I tend to focus on is really asking the bigger questions in life, because no one's brave enough to ask them. So that's what I do. I ask them for you guys, so you guys will understand that knowing yourself and mastering yourself and knowing your true potential is so much more important than serving a specific task for a specific a company or whatever it is that life is being constructed and society has been constructed out of. Now, I know this sounds really confusing, guys, but I'm just simply sort of asking the questions that nobody has been asking. The questions of the deeper meanings behind life, the deeper meanings behind what you do. Why do you wake up every day? I think when people get caught up in their day-to-day life, they don't really focus on themselves enough to understand what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what to improve on, what goals they should be setting, you know, what they should be aiming for in life. Who do they want to be as people? What do they value in their lives? What are their beliefs? You know, what do they stand for? These are all things you have to work on, guys. These are all things you have to develop. School doesn't teach you that. University doesn't teach you that. There's no subject for discovering your beliefs. There's no subject for discovering your why. There's no subject for the bigger questions that we should be asking. So the purpose of this video is, I don't think it's about inspiration. I don't think it's about challenging the system and challenging the way society has brought us up. But I want you guys to understand that this is the way that society has placed the system upon us. But we can be smarter than that. We can spend more time discovering ourselves, developing more self-awareness, developing our strengths, developing our weaknesses, understanding ourselves, making and setting goals for ourselves, exploiting our strengths, exploiting our weaknesses, knowing who we are as people, what we stand for, what do we want to serve, you know, as a higher purpose than ourselves on this planet. Because one day we're going to die and we're going to have to answer these questions. So it's better questioning them now, when you don't have all the baggage later in life, than when you have all the baggage and then asking the questions then. Because when you answer all the questions, when you have all the baggage, you have no other choice now. So guys, I want you as young men and women to discover who you are as people. Spend every single day thinking about it, thinking about your why. What is your purpose? What are you aiming to achieve in your day? What are you aiming to achieve in your week or your month or your year? What are you aiming, what makes you feel like getting up? What motivates you? What inspires you? These are all questions that you have to ask, guys. So keep asking these questions, guys. Challenge the system, challenge conventional thinking, think outside the box, be creative, serve a higher purpose, give back to people. These are all things you should be doing, guys. Instead of just going by the system and thinking that this is the only way of living. There's so many ways of thinking. There's so many things that we should be developing through ourselves. We should be mastering, you know, our minds. We should be improving every single day. I think these are things school just doesn't teach you, and that's exactly what I wanted to say. Read more books, gain more knowledge, get more experience out of the hardships of life, and really just maximize your potential, guys. Don't let the system dictate your life. Okay, guys, that's it for me tonight. Hope you all have a fantastic Thursday night, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.